How about we quickly break down the stages of attacking? Purpose of this video is to understand how and when to engage our body so we can create a more explosive and fast technique. In my experience, many people, when they're trying to be fast, they focus so much on the target and they want to explode from a standing position. This could be successful in some cases, but at the same time, it could also create a lot of bad habits. What you want is to actually have momentum before you commit to a technique. In other words, engage your feet before you throw your technique. I think that this can give you many advantages, especially in how you do it. One of them being the ability to assess your opponent before you actually commit to a technique. But this is something that maybe I should explore specifically in a different video. In the meantime, let's call this beginning stage, stage 1, takeoff. What I like to do is starting from a good kamae where I have a forward intention, I release my forward leg to allow it to move forward as I push with my back leg. By the way, that back foot will keep pushing all the way until the foot leaves the ground. Do not disengage that back leg. As you move forward towards your opponent, you want to make sure that your arms are relaxed. You want to keep the center, and ideally, you also want to start communication with your shinai and your opponent's shinai as you close the distance. Sometimes this might not happen depending on what's happening with each other's shinai. Regardless, you should always keep the center. This first stage, some people may call it seme. I don't like to call this seme because I feel that there are many other aspects that have to be involved to properly be seme. But practicing this during your jigeko and kihon, I think will help you to understand the physical aspects that you're going to need to start improving your seme and tame. Especially if you have a good motodachi, this is a great thing to incorporate in your kihon practice because it will help you understand what an opening feels like. So if you could, during your kihon practice, don't just focus on the striking moment. Also pay attention to what's happening before so you can start understanding what are you doing that's creating opening. Again, this is something that I will try to focus in a different video. If this is something that interests you, you might want to subscribe to the channel so you can also keep getting Kendo tips your way. Also, it will really help the channel if you take a second and hit the like button and leave me a comment letting me know what do you think about these videos. The next stage is when you start seeing the explosivity, and it involves Fumikiri and Fumikomi. I already made a video on both of them. I don't want to get too much into it. I just want to remind you that Fumikiri pushes you forward and Fumikomi pulls you forward to keep the momentum going. Anyways, after that initial push where you start the momentum going, when you decide to commit into a technique, you want to push yourself off the ground with the back leg. At this moment is when you start engaging your hands forward towards your opponent. By doing this at this moment, you're increasing your chances of surprising your opponent, but most importantly, you're adding speed to the one that you created already on your sword from your move. So for example, if you come in with your arm stance, not only will it be harder for you to move the sword, but you also already gave up a lot of distance and a lot of movement coming from your hands. Now, slightly before your arms reach full extension, you engage into Tenouchi. You do this in order to finish with a strong and fast impact. One thing that Tenouchi will do is that as your hand and your sword is moving forward, it will add a little bit of extra speed and sharpness to your strike. Right about this time when you're getting the impact, you want to make sure that your forward leg is engaging into Fumikomi. It is very important that you don't just land on the leg. Instead, you're gonna bring the leg down to pull you forward. A lot of times when people have a weak impact, tends to be for two main reasons. Of course, there are some more, but I'm gonna talk about two today. If you land down on that Fumikomi, you're forcing your forward leg to push you up. And what that does is that it's fighting against the way that the sword is moving, again, removing energy or momentum from your sword. And the second most common reason that I see is people pulling their sword back after the impact. I know sometimes you see videos where the sword and the arms go up after the strike, and I'm not saying this is okay, but I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about when people actually pull the shinai backwards and up. And again, this is taking away from the momentum that you created from your body. Mainly it's because people, when they know that they're gonna pull their sword back, they tend to slow down right before the moment of impact. Just a lot of things, one thing leads to another. What you want is a solid and forward strike. So in order to do this, you want to make sure that your arms are extended and do not fight the momentum of the sword. Allow the sword to bounce off your target. And the way you do this is that you keep your arms firm forward, not tight, but relax your fingers, your hands, and your wrist. You don't want to have extra tension as you go through your partner. One big challenge that I see people have is understanding how to move and engage their body aggressively without really engaging their arms. So take your time, break things down, and then move forward to add up everything together. Now, moving your hands fast and sharp is very important, so that's why I made this video right here to help you understand the mechanics of creating a stronger impact and some tips on improving your speed. Make sure to check that video and integrate it with this one. Please subscribe to the channel if you would like to keep getting Kendo tips your way. Also, if you got some value from this video, I would really appreciate if you can hit the like button and share this with someone you want their Kendo to improve. Thank you very much for watching.